the most insane, incredible thing and item for me that found its way to me this Christmas. Just saying, you know, just saying. Hello everybody and welcome to the premiere of the 25th and the final Vlogmas video. First of all, Merry Christmas to everybody who's celebrating. I wish you guys beautiful holiday season, and to the rest of you, happy end of 2025. It is such a calm and peaceful time of the year. It's actually like my favorite time of the year, if I'm very honest, for so many reasons. One of them being that I get to really enjoy the relaxing moments after a busy year. It is also kind of like a very bittersweet time for me, if I'm very honest. I know that I struggle with being vulnerable on social media in general, but I just wanted to start this video with like very honest, heart-to-heart moment, telling you that this was probably the most successful year of my life. I don't know where to start, with multiple covers of magazines to billboard on Sunset Boulevard, not for any kind of brand, but for one of the most luxurious brands in the world, Audemars Piguet, to prestigious awards, incredible brand partnerships. All of those things were truly magical, to investing in sort of like different kind of things this year as well. I actually don't really talk about it much, but this year I invested more in properties and also dedicated myself to charities that really mean a lot to me. But despite all of these amazing moments, I can't help but think that also I'm ending the year with a little bit of sadness as well, in a way, because this year I actually lost a family member, and that was something that makes holidays definitely different. And like I said, I really struggled with being vulnerable on social media. I also have to say that I wanted to bring that up because I'm sure that so many of you enjoy the holiday seasons, but maybe the rest of you feel a little bit like me, with a little bit of a hole in the heart for the people we don't have around the table this Christmas or this New Year's Eve or this holiday season or just this end of the year. With that being said, I wanted to send love to every single one of you. I wish I could hug every single one of you and just send a lot of good vibes, because I'm sure that even if it was a good or if it was a bad, everything is transitory, as you guys will know. Now, I've been doing this what I got for Christmas for so many years now that actually I wouldn't skip it. I know the times are changing and people say like, hey, hold on, like, don't you think like it's time to also adapt the content? And I'm constantly adapting my content, but the pieces of content that you guys enjoy the most, I always make sure they're here. And that goes for this type of the video as well. And that being said, I always start by saying that actually my family doesn't celebrate Christmas on 25th of December. I always need to say that because there's always going to be one person who's going to point that out. And yes, you are right. I actually celebrate Christmas on 7th of January. However, many of you will know by now that my fiancé and his family celebrate Christmas on 25th of December. And so do many of my friends. And honestly, I'm so blessed in a sense that I have friends and family from so many different religions around the world who celebrate different kind of holidays. And that is a true privilege and a true blessing, because I have been exposed growing up to different cultures, different religions, so that I can really appreciate and respect them. And I think that's a message that I would like to also share with you guys this Christmas, that this world needs more tolerance, more love, and just more respect for each other. And on to the lighter topics now, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm sure that many of you will want to know what I got. So in no particular order, I'm gonna share with you some of my gifts, or pretty much most of my gifts, over here next to me. So yeah, I think I will keep probably the best and the most special and the most precious to the very end of the video. So keep watching, and you guys will probably be as shocked as I was, because honestly, this year, Santa Filippo, or Santa Claus, as other people know him, was very, very generous. Something that you have already seen, and I kept especially for this video, so it's not yet in the laundry because I cannot wait to wash and wear it, is a pajama that I cannot wait to wear. Actually, my best friend gives me a pajama every single year, and I have like a collection of funny pajamas. I have like a Snoopy one, I have so many cute ones, and this one has a sausage dog. Actually, she has a sort of like a sausage rescue dog that she sends me pictures of all the time, and it's here. Look at him. It's so, so, so cute with the little gifts and lots of sort of like Christmassy things. And it says pajama collection better together, match your pajama with the ones you love. I really love that. This time of the year, I specifically love the pajama culture when you like wake up and you can be lazy whole day and just eat all the kind of food that you want to eat and enjoy in those best moments around the holiday seasons because there's nothing else to do, truthfully. So I truly, truly love this. Now, besides the pajama, one thing that I love to receive as a gift, and I feel like I say this so much that now I have hundreds of, is socks. Okay, currently just note to everybody who knows me in person and is planning to give me a gift, now I have enough cashmere socks, but I need some over the knee cashmere socks. Just saying, you know, just saying, because I feel like I have now hundreds of cashmere socks and I love them. I actually sometimes feel even that cold that I actually sleep in socks. Not that often though, but for me, no matter what I wear, I like to have socks on. And yeah, these are some of the greatest ones that I received. Actually, this year I received like a new, different kind of pair, because usually I receive the similar ones, but these are a bit more like pleated, and I like them a lot. So that's always very, very appreciated. Actually, what I like to do is I like to spray them with the scent, and also when I travel and I throw them in the luggage, I feel like they scent the whole luggage. It's kind of like scent carrier as well, in a way. There's a little hack that seems to be quite useful for me. Talking about scents, I think like in the second half of the year, I've been heavily using a new fragrance for me, but the one that has quickly became my signature, definitely since Fashion Week. I think like, I want to say since I've been using it since August. So August, September, October, November, December, like for the past 5 months, I've been using the Parfum de Marly Balaya. And so I have received brand new body cream, and I cannot wait actually to moisturize the whole body and use the fragrance. I love it. I cannot really smell the fragrance on me, but the amount of times that like I enter a room or a car or something and people tell me like, wow, this smells so good, has been insane. So yeah, here we go. This is really nice because also like people appreciating the fragrance you use, but then not getting you like what you already have, but getting you something to complement it. It's so nice. And right now I have the body cream, I have the travel size, I have the full size, and I have the hair fragrance, which is really, really nice. All together thing to have for a girl like me, a girl's girl. I'm not just a girl's girl, but I'm also a girly girl. And I think I'm quite like a cliche girly girl. One that really, really loves a candle. And this is one of my favorite Christmas candle now for seasons. I already had one for the past 2 months and I used it up. And this one is Diptyque Sapin, which means Christmas tree. I love a Christmas tree, and it's really, really Christmassy scented, but not cheesy Christmassy, more like spicy Christmassy. I love Diptyque candles. Actually, my favorite ones are amber and vanille. I really, really love them. But Sapin really always reminds me of Christmas. And this season, they have changed the packaging, or like not the packaging, but it's like a limited edition, what do you call it? It's not a bottle, it's like a jar. And it is sort of like a gold leaf foiled with a white signature Diptyque label. So I think this is really, really cute. Dun, 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 dun. Now, before I continue, I would just like to remind you guys, in case you're not subscribed to my channel, maybe you like randomly stumbled upon my channel and maybe you would like to be subscribed, or maybe you can change your mind now. I know that my team is really eager to reach a milestone of subscribers, which is 500,000. So it would mean the world to them and to me if you would click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything, it's free of charge, but it does mean a lot to us. So now I decided to really get back into reading. It's one of my resolutions for 2026 is to go back and read all of the obligatory literature that I had to read in high school, and there was a lot. I went to sort of like a high school that really heavily focuses on the language and reading, and read a lot. So I started reading a little bit. I started going back into Tolstoy, and I got myself the Cossacks, because I wanted to start with something that is not 1,000 pages long. But after reading the Cossacks, because it's so comforting, it's so soothing, it's very, very, very introspective, and you can like really feel Tolstoy questioning so many aspects of his life through this book, and very like interrogative internally, like internal search, internal questioning, something that I thought was really deep and well written, but very quick to read. Like, this is a small book of like around under 300 pages. So I wanted to start this kind of like going into Tolstoy with something easy, to not put myself off with War and Peace. But after seeing so many of your comments saying like you have to go back into War and Peace, I am going in that next. But what does this have to do with my Christmas gifts? Well, every Christmas I get some books as well, because I love receiving books. I love receiving also Kindle books, in case, you know, they're not like to carry. But this time I received, ouch, I already hurt one of my fingers, as you guys know if you watch Vlogmas. Now I almost hurt another one. So I received a new book from Dan Brown, who is the author of the Da Vinci Code. I'm sure you guys know it. I read it when I was 18, and I remember this so well. I visited my sister, who then lived in England, or maybe I was less than 18. I was probably like 16. And I remember reading it, and I couldn't put the book down. It was such a good mystery and adventure. It was like one of those like page turners that you just cannot wait. And I remember eating like a raspberry yogurt that she would buy me from Waitrose. That was like my favorite thing at the moment. I'm reading the Da Vinci Code, but now I got the Dan Brown, The Secret of Secrets. It's the new book, I think. There was a blue cover as well when I searched for it online, because I wanted to see when it was published. And it was just published, I believe. It was published this year, I believe. So I think this will be quite a nice, easy, light holiday read, which I'm going to take on as soon as I finish the Cossacks, which is going to be this week, especially now over the Christmas and over the holidays. So I really want to read this one. It is not the lightest of books, but I will bring it with me as soon as we head out to sunshine, and I cannot wait. I have a Kindle, and I love reading my Kindle because I can pack like 10 books when I'm traveling or when I'm going somewhere. Even if I have a small handbag, I can put a Kindle in it. But the truth is, I still love to turn pages, and it's something I'm very excited about. I got another book, like an easy one, from a writer that I never read from before, Renee Andy, Park Avenue. It says, wickedly clever, deliciously incisive. It's apparently about the people who live on Park Avenue and things that happen. I'm not really sure. This is what I got, and I'm very, very excited. I love to have books to read on any kind of like holidays, because that just gives me so much joy. And the only way that I don't touch my phone, or I don't actually think about anything work related, is if I focus on what I'm reading. And I'll tell you a little secret about reading. I used to read so much more before the smartphones. I would read at least one book a week, because when I worked as a pharmacist, I would basically, listen to this. It would take me 1 hour to get to work, and I would take a bus. And on the bus, I would read, because I thought, like, you know what better way to kind of spend that hour than read. So I would read 1 hour to work, 1 hour back from work, and then I would also read on my lunch break. So I would go like very quickly through books. Sometimes I would even read 2 books a week. It depends how good the book was, if I'm very honest. And I miss those days, because every week I felt like it was a little bit of like escape from reality. The truth is also that I didn't really love my job so much. It was not like fulfilling me. So I like the part of working with people, but I did not like the part of the reality of it. So I like to escape the reality by reading a lot. And I think that like it's hard to escape to the books if sometimes you are like, I don't know, occupied with work or like preoccupied with thoughts and planning and future and whatever is going on. So nowadays I really am loving my job. I love what I do. Things are great, but I still sometimes like to escape from it so that I can come back to work without overthinking about it 24/7. I can come back to it with fresh mind, and that's something that I think reading is something that really, really helps me to open my mind and to go back to a completely, like, to my life with completely different approach. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, in my head it makes sense. As many of you will know, I'm very much into jewelry. I love jewelry, all kinds of jewelry, and I think like my collection is quite beautiful. But recently, as you will know, I also managed to completely break my jewelry box. In fact, I've shown it in one of my vlogmases as well. If you have not had a chance to catch up with vlogmases, now is a perfect opportunity for you to do that. You can go back, there's a playlist of 2025 vlogmas. You can start with number 1 or wherever you stopped and head all the way back to 25. But I got a really, really, really cute jewelry box, and actually this is something I really needed because I needed something small that can fit in my handbag so that it's not like too big, as I'm not going to spoil the next gift, but something like this does not really easily fit in a handbag, you know what I mean? So something like this is so ideal for me because it can fit like a few bracelets, a few rings, few different pairs of earrings, like, you know, enough things. But this really slides nicely into handbag because I like to have my jewelry with me. I would never like check in jewelry into a checked luggage, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what. I mean, unless flying private, I guess, but even then I like to have my possessions close to me in a way. So I don't know if that makes sense, but this one is really great, and it's like a thoughtful gift. It's when someone really knows that you need something and then you receive what you need. It's like a full circle. And I think I said this before, I think I'm one of the hardest people to gift to because I have a habit of, as soon as I want something, buying it for myself, so that doesn't leave a lot of wanting for me. And B, I'm the kind of person that already has way too much, so I don't really need to receive anything like, I don't know, expensive or whatever, you know what I mean? But now I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite, you know? Sometimes in my therapy I say I'm gonna sound like such a hypocrite because I do the job that I do, but material things are not my priority in life. And it is true. It sounds like a hypocrite because my whole universe is like about luxury, and I love luxury. It's like a hobby of mine. But it's funny enough because when my apartment got burglared in 2021, I really realized that that did not turn my world upside down. Whereas losing people I am close to, or having conflicts with people that I'm close to, or anything like that, does completely turn my world upside down. Like, even if I'm having like a misunderstanding with someone I love, that can completely turn my world upside down. Like, you guys understand how much I internally suffer. I don't show it, but I really, really suffer with interpersonal relationships. It's hard for me to explain this because of the nature of my job, etc. But material things are not things that fulfill me, and losing the same did not affect my life. It affected my sense of safety, but it did not affect my sense of happiness. So that being said, I think I'm just trying to be careful to not obviously hurt this finger anymore. The most insane, incredible thing and item for me that found its way to me this Christmas, some of you have already seen, is this spectacular Birkin 25 picnic. It has obviously the whole like wooden woven part at the bottom and then leather woven part at the top. It is completely different to any other bag that I have, even though I have a Birkin 25 in gold with palladium hardware, but it's not at all the similar, not even slightly similar thing. I've shown you the bottom of this bag, I think, as well. Like, the way it opens is so spectacular. I personally think this is one of the most special things that I have in my collection, if not the most special thing in my collection. I'm not sure, but I really think it is super, super, super wonderful. I am so excited to bring her to the warmer destination, which is where we are heading to right after I finish filming this and a few other videos actually coming this December at the end of the year. So I think this is really, really special and a piece that I'm looking forward to wearing very much. So yeah, on the sides is leather, in the front this wood, and on top parts it's actually the leather part is kind of covering the wooden part. So it's all wood inside, and then this is covering the wood part. And I think it's so special. Like, if I could have picked the exact picnic bag I wanted, it would be this exact one. So I'm very grateful for it, and I cannot wait to style it. So stay tuned on my Instagram for more of this, okay? Now, in 2026, we will have a lot of changes also on this channel, and I think you guys will be here hopefully for that. But the thing that I'm very excited for is our second home base in Monaco. We will have a lot of furnishing to do. We will have a lot of settling in to do. We will have a lot more Monaco vlogs, and Monaco will become our second home. So right now I'm also receiving like a second of this, a second of that to bring to the other house. And I also received my favorite hairbrush for Christmas. I really, really love this one. It's the Maison Pearson brush, and my hair type is I think BN3 or BN2. Let me check if it says here. It does say, but I cannot see it because there's a sticker over it. And honestly, this hairbrush makes so much difference. I'm not gonna open it. Should I open it? It doesn't say. It says, but the sticker has another sticker. Yeah, it's BN3. I can see now. There is a sticker over a sticker, but I could see that here underneath it says BN3. It's basically bristle and nylon brush, like bristles, and it's so great. So this one is going straight into a bag that I already have prepared of my doubles for Monaco, because, you know, I have to bring there like things like double facial cleanser, double Dyson, double hairbrush, double moisturizer, double. So when you have two places, you don't want to pack every time when you're going things that you need there. Though my friends have told me that apparently it doesn't matter how much you already have there, you always end up bringing more things. So can someone else with two home bases let me know about that, please? Because I don't know, but I'm gonna try and kind of make sure that I look after my hair at least in 2026. So I don't have any excuse not to, if that makes any sense. We're coming towards the end. I have two more things to show you that I received this Christmas, and they're like so precious that I don't even know. I will keep the most precious for the end, I think, because it's wow. But in 2025, I really got, like I said, I'm really into jewelry. I love jewelry, but I also especially got into vintage jewelry because I feel like it's much more rare and not very common to find wherever you go. You know, it's like vintage jewelry is truly precious, and it's actually what inspires most of the modern collections. So I added to my collection something that I really wanted, and it's so precious, and I didn't think I was gonna get it this soon, but it is the really truly spectacular choker, a Tubogaz Bulgari vintage, and it's yellow gold, white gold, and rose gold. I'll try to come closer so you guys can see it. This is such a sort of like a Roman style choker, like what I imagine Cleopatra would have worn back in the days. I don't know how to show you now. I have a high neck collar, but just imagine. I love it. It's very modular also, so you can like pack it nicely, or you can pack it flat as well, I guess, kinda. You know, if you want to pack it flat, you can pack it flat. Cannot even tell you. Like in 2025, I already got a Bulgari vintage moneta necklace, which I've worn multiple times. I got it in June. It was my big dream. I searched every single auction. I searched everywhere. And then when I tried this one on in Milan, I was like, oh my God, this is it. And I honestly promise you, when I tell you that ever since I haven't seen a more beautiful one of the same collection. It has two rubies, it's so special. And this one is like a different kind of Bulgari collection, but from the same sort of like era in a way. And it's really precious and really special. So I'm very, very much excited to wear it. And then last and the most special piece that I have received for Christmas this year, which I know is very difficult to say because I've received so many special pieces. But this one is like very special because the person who was hunting it was really going hardcore for it. And it's something I truly don't even know how he managed to find this. So as you will see from this box, it is a vintage and quite well loved Audemars Piguet box. I have a very beautiful collection of watches. Luckily, I have been loving AP as a brand for as long as I can remember. I think it's going to be 10 years next year of me owning my first Royal Oak, or maybe 9, but anyway, I'm still kind of young, so you know what I mean. But this is a vintage watch, and it is one that really is missing in my collection. Every time I see it, I'm like, I cannot believe its actual beauty. I'm gonna open it for you guys to see it up close right away because I also cannot wait for it. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you my very own Audemars Piguet bamboo watch in yellow gold, which makes it even more rare, but I'll bring it also closer. Here we go. So, okay, so here it is. Yellow gold bamboo with this like kilted dial that is sort of like with diamonds and most beautiful pointers and the vintage logo and everything and anything one can dream of. Now this piece of art is so special because it's sort of like in between a watch, a timepiece, and a jewelry. And I think I can say that because right now I'm wearing the APQP, which is a release from this year and such a special watch that I've been loving wearing lately. I clearly also want to show you the difference between rose gold and yellow gold so you guys can properly see them, and you can see the size difference, and you can see why this is going to be more of like an elegant evening watch for me. But this watch has to be properly resized because obviously it's still big for my wrist. I will still put it on so you guys can see it. It's not too big, but it is a little bit big, and I think this is going to be such a special piece to wear when I'm out. It has to be cut in a way that a jeweler cuts it, like with a knife, and it doesn't have links like the other AP watches will have. They can be removed and reinstalled. It's kind of like one piece and that's it, which also makes it a little bit more special and sensitive and beautiful and whatnot. We couldn't guess how many links is gonna be for me to have it already ready when it arrives, but this is it. I'm so loving these kind of vintage pieces. I'm loving these more rare, special, meaningful things that obviously, you know, are kind of a little bit less around, even though I still love the very mainstream pieces that you already, don't get me wrong, there's nothing, it's not like, oh, I don't like the things that I already have so many of in my wardrobe, not at all. It's just that I also find refreshing to have a little mix and match in my wardrobe of pieces that are a little bit more unique and pieces that are a little bit more mainstream. And then, I don't know, like yesterday I wore a mango dress with like Kate boots and Nor More coat. I love to mix and match and have a bit of like a high-low moment. So with that famous sentence, I finished this video. I just wanted to say one more time, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the grand finale of Vlogmas 25, and it is the Vlogmas 25. And I want to thank you for sticking here with me. YouTube is my absolute, I don't know how to explain it. This is my FaceTime moment with my friends, the moment where I tell you all my ups, my downs, my great moments, my sad moments. I laugh, I cry, I joke, I say silly things, I'm running late, I am on time, I'm sleeping in, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and all of that in front of your eyes because I feel like I'm sharing my life with you here. I'm not sharing my life on any other platform as much as I'm sharing here because for someone that is quite sensitive as me but quite shy of being vulnerable in front of other people, this is the only place where I feel like I can really be myself. And I think that you guys are my friends because of the way that I can speak to you. I see your comments, I read your comments, I interact with you, and I'm so grateful to you for being here with me for so long, for sticking around through good and bad and through more fun and more boring videos. And you know, we all have our days, our weeks, our months, and our years. And I just wanted to send you lots of love. There will be 2 more videos. This is not it. It's not over. There's still more to tie you through this holiday season, and then we will make a little break before I slowly get into my wedding year. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. And I'm saying that without an engagement ring on just because it's getting cleaned. But yeah, thank you for watching. I love you lots, and I cannot wait to see my next one. Bye, guys.